You keep trying to pound that square peg into a round hole, telling me, yes, I do have it. I keep trying to tell you that you don't. I keep trying to specifically tell you what you don't have, and you're not listening to me. Then you decide what you want to do is you want to walk all the way out to your car to get it. And I know what you're going to, and you're talking about the postal service. I know exactly what you're going to bring back to me. Carla Green versus Dustin Mickle. And Antoinette. Yep. All right. You guys are on the wrong side, but don't worry. Oh. All right. Your name? And Dustin. And
my wife Antoinette.
Okay. She can introduce herself. I don't know why. Got it. All right.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. Where are you folks on this case?
All right. Well, I did speak to legal services as you requested, and they're not entirely. They don't know if they're going to fully take the case on, but they do want to do some investigating about the housing voucher being taken like that.
Yeah.
There must be some type of something illegal or something that happened because they can't just do that. But they were asking for 2 weeks.
And so, Ms. Green, so that you understand, that was when I was sort of hesitating the last time. It's because it's unusual that all of a sudden their voucher goes away, right? And I'm not sure why that was. And I don't know if you know. You do?
Yeah, so IH working with them in October the 24th, she sent out an email saying that they're not no longer with the state giving those vouchers out anymore. And so we showed them proof that we filled out the paperwork. And Mr. Nichols, me and him worked hand in hand. I kept on saying, I heard something from Section 8, I heard something from Section 8. Well, they stated, Hugh, the director of the company, stated that Section 8 just said they closed the vouchers. Just like that. And so in October, they knew they had to contact legal aid. It's in writing. And so I don't know. I kept on telling them, y'all got to do something. Because Tracy even told them to contact legal aid back in October.
Tracy,
they worker.
okay.
They was in the homeless shelter
Gotcha.
for 2 years. But 2 years was up this February, even though last year it was 2 months. Last year the lease was up because they already had stayed a year. This made the second year. So the lease went to month. So in October, we was trying to work this out way in October. And she had just had her baby. And so I knew that he worked real hard, and it was so hard for him to delegate what he had going on. And so now we're here. I gave a 30-day notice in January.
No, I see.
And I just
Okay.
choose my please.
No, I know. And so where are you guys in reference to moving?
Sir, we have put in at least 24 applications. And the housing side that we need, they're wanting me to pay, I can pay, $1,600 to $2,000, but they want me to make 3 times the rent. They want my credit score to be a 675. So they keep denying me. And the places that will accept me, I don't have Section 8. So they don't even want to deal with me, even though it's just like, I just can't take my family, like I explained to Carla, I just can't take my family and just be out the house.
Okay. So go ahead.
It's okay to say something else?
No, go ahead.
And at first, the housing voucher was going good, but then at first they didn't want to deal with the program because they were asking too many questions or whatever the reason. I don't know what the reason was because the communication should have been between my landlord and my caseworker, Tracy Bundley, but she was not communicating with her due to a disagreement between the two parties, and we were just
Judge, we were hanging in the balance basically between the two. We didn't know half of the information that was being stated from our worker because she was not coming.
Buckle up, guys. Today we're diving into a tense courtroom battle over a disputed housing voucher and the struggles behind it. The stakes are set early as confusion and frustration take center stage.
Not coming in, talking with us, giving us information that we needed to have until she wanted us to sign something. That's when she would come and bring us paperwork and we would sign it.
Where, with this worker, where's this worker from?
She's from, Rapid Rehousing, the program.
And she just got a promotion.
Well, I don't care about that. What I'm worried about. All right.
Judge, honestly, if I don't have a housing voucher, I'm really.
No, I know. Well,
I
that
have
was,
9 people.
well, that was, listen, I've been doing this work for a while, and that was the one thing that I realized when you guys were on last time. If you don't have a voucher, I don't know how you house 9 people. You want your house back, which would be fine and maybe a whole lot easier if they have a voucher. Go ahead.
Actually, I don't want to deal with the voucher. That's what she was saying.
No. It doesn't matter whether you want to deal with it. It's where they go. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about you even keeping them. The problem is, in the normal circumstance, what would happen is you'd want them out. They had a voucher. Let's say they just had a family of 3. You have a voucher, then they have to go and they can find a place, basically relocating that voucher and move in. Problem here is I got more people trying to move them and no voucher. Because if what you want, if that voucher was improperly taken in some way, then what you want becomes a whole lot easier to accomplish. Because otherwise, what's going to happen is, let's say they don't move, then you're going to be paying to pay somebody to move them out of that house. I don't think you want to do that either. Let me ask you this. Because right now, I'm inclined to give the adjournment to let them investigate it because this doesn't sound right. The whole thing just doesn't sound right to me. That all of a sudden they say, we're not doing those vouchers anymore. If you had to, how much was rent, the base rent when the voucher was paying? Not, I don't care who was paying it. What do you mean there never was?
He had got us up for his voucher. We were going through stages of getting the inspection done. And so we can be able to start using, he never got to use his voucher.
So he never was issued a voucher.
He never got to use.
That's a whole different ballgame. So,
I'm sorry, sir. I was issued the voucher based on them doing the inspection of the place. Now, the first time they did the inspection, when Section 8 did the inspection, they counted it as an initial inspection, even though we had already been there.
well, hold on, because you guys now have me confused. There was never, so you never got a Section 8 payment?
No.
She was getting paid through Rapid Rehousing. They were paying,
Yeah, but they're only gonna pay for a certain period.
And like, the period was up in
February
February this year was their last payment.
was the last payment of the Rapid Rehousing, because then what should have taken over is you should have gotten their voucher, that should have been in place, and that you should have been doing it.
and sir, that
But
is the reason.
well, no, hold on. So that's where it was confusing in my mind. So you got paid by Rapid Rehousing, but you never got paid on a voucher
Never.
because you weren't issued a voucher.
I was issued a voucher.
He wasn't issued a voucher that really made it a voucher, so they never started paying it off.
You didn't get a payment if they paid in February, you didn't get a payment in March.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry. So your Honor, what I was trying to tell them as well is, so Rapid Rehousing, they only let you stay there for 2 years.
Gotcha.
The drama unfolds as conflicting claims about a housing voucher status ignite confusion. No voucher means no payment. But questions remain.
And there's no lease at this point.
And the reason there was no lease because Section 8, the only reason we were given this house due to the amount that we had to pay to move in and due to the high, they usually don't pay this much when it comes to rent, but they did because
Okay.
the voucher was gonna take over.
Right.
That's
But-
why there was no lease after
Okay,
last
but-
year.
Hold on a moment. So the problem is so what I said before, what makes it easier for the landlord is if you have a voucher. It also makes it easier for you in terms of moving. That's fine if you had a voucher and somebody may have taken it and done something with it, because then they could potentially be reinstated, you could move, they get their house, everything's fine. Problem here is, what I'm hearing is there actually was never a voucher. So you don't really have that voucher to take, like somebody can't come along and say, oh, mistake. You still have your voucher and then move. That's not what this case was. Because understanding that now, that's a whole different thing.
We had got a paper in the mail, sir, that said, the time has passed to judicial housing vouchers. Like I said in the beginning, she didn't even want to take the program due to whatever was.
Well, she didn't have to take it. I mean,
So when I talked to her, basically, I'm like, it's the house that I need, and I spoke to her, father, as a husband, it's like, this is what I need, whatever I need to do, I'm willing to do it. She was like, okay, we'll take it. And then so we started the process again because they wanted me to find another house rather than a house that I was in. Still.
okay, just listen. All of that will be fine, except for the fact that the cold-hearted reality in this is you're going to have to move. It just becomes a rougher journey for you because I don't think that voucher, there isn't a voucher. So to understand where my head was at initially, had there been a voucher and somebody says, okay, we're not paying, or we're stopping it for whatever reason, that's not how that would work, where they come along and say, we're not doing it anymore, right? That's not how that would work.
They also took it because on our part, it was turned in on time, but they turned the paper in late when it came to.
Well, I can't go back and do anything with that. The only thing that I can say is there wasn't a voucher. All right. Had they been paid, but they were being paid through a different program. They weren't being paid on the voucher. Had they been paid on the voucher, then I would say, okay, I'm adjourning this out because we got to find out what happened to that thing. And it's going to make it easier on everybody. Right now, this is a circumstance where I don't know that the adjournment is going to do anything because I don't think anybody's going to issue a voucher in 2 weeks.
I just want to give them time to investigate. That's all.
Well, but the investigation isn't going to. You got paid in February.
She had contacted us, that both of us know, Tracy, that they've been expired for the program. They give you 2 years to sit on this program, and after February was the deadline. So she emailed us in October.
To tell us it would expire. And then your last payment came in February.
My wife offered her a payment in March. She said,
I
we don't
did not
want
touch
any
them.
partial
They
payment.
said they didn't want no partial payment.
And we didn't say it was gonna be.
All right,
partial
look,
payment.
okay, I get it.
I had been asking her, what if we could pay the $2,600? Could we stay? Well, I just want to sell the house. Well, if there's a first homeowners program that we could get into, because I said it's gonna be hard.
Okay, I hear you, and all of that's fine, except that they're going to be entitled to their property. The real question is how much time is it going to take you guys to move? and I know, and given the
Tensions rise when poor communication between the parties deepens the crisis, leaving the family caught in a bureaucratic limbo.
given the circumstances, that's a hard question to even begin
I
to try
can
to
give
answer.
you an answer because we've been trying to move since.
Okay, let me try from the other end. If I give you a judgment,
I would like my property as soon as possible. Your Honor, when they came to.
okay, but look, folks, here's the problem. Do you have the money to pay to move people, to have people move them out? Because that's what has to happen.
It's gonna cost me less to have them moved out versus me going, wait months and months. This is costing me, I'm falling deeper and deeper.
You guys are
I
not,
just want my property. I did proper things to get it back. Did I do the right thing to get my property back? Did I follow the right channels?
But did you say you were gonna understand, because you've been in this position before? Did you just say that to my house, to me and my wife,
I
talk to
never
my
been in-
kids? Yes,
This
you
is my
did.
first time renting this house out. This is my last.
But,
time.
No, she's talking about the being
Folks.
homeless
folks,
part.
folks,
As soon as I.
you guys can go back and forth, and it doesn't matter.
I understand.
It really doesn't matter.
Okay.
All right. The cold hard reality is I don't think you understand how much it would cost to empty a house because all of that stuff would be out there. I understand that you're going out of the world backwards. I also understand that if you don't get all of that property out of the house, then that's going to be a problem on you. Okay? You, on your side, don't understand that you're going to have to figure out something.
We're just gonna be homeless again.
Okay,
So we want
and
to
I
program
don't,
homelessness to come up.
listen. There is not a good answer to any of this for either side because you don't want to keep going into the hole financially, right? You got to find a place to put your family. But there isn't an issue for me to should try in the case. The issue is going to be how much time to try to give to not cause more of a burden on the landlord to do what they have to do, and at the same time give you guys an ample opportunity to do what you got to do.
Be able to get out. Understand.
Legally, because when I went down to the court, they told me this was the legal way to do it. And I would have 7 to 10 days. And I feel like in October, this was already on the floor. I feel like this
What do
was-
you mean?
When I went to go file, I've been sitting in the courtroom and been issuing out writs for 10 days and 7 days, like, where did my right come in? I don't know the rights to this, that's why I was asking the question. When I went down to file the paperwork, they told me these are the proper channels to do.
I'm not saying that you didn't follow the proper channels. Did I say any of that?
No, that's what I'm asking you. I'm asking you to understand the question.
Well, hold on a second. Did you? Was there a lease? Was there a lease?
Yeah, when we first moved in,
No.
was February 18th, 2024. Sorry.
23,
And so when did it expire?
February 2024.
But it says 2025 on the paper.
That's because I never did this before. They told me to put that date at the courthouse.
Who told you to put that date at the courthouse?
Courthouse on Michigan Ave. And I filled out the paperwork. So it's been, month to month since last year, February 24th. It's
Okay, so first of all, where's the other notice to quit?
I got some.
The judge lays down the cold truth. Without a valid voucher, the family faces a tough road ahead, highlighting the brutal realities of housing assistance.
I got some more. Would you like the rest of them?
Well, no, because here's the problem. You keep trying to say that you did everything proper, but now that I'm looking at this, I don't have the notice to quit and how it was served on.
Excuse me?
The notice to quit to recover property, the very first document, I don't have the one that has the proof of service.
Well, I turned that back into the court along with this receipt.
Ma'am?
Saying that,
Ma'am, I'm looking at the court copy. I'm looking at what you turned into the court. What I'm telling you is I do not have it. When was the notice to quit served?
Yes, proof of service, January 20th.
Where's the proof of service? What do you mean January 28th? This isn't the proof of service. This copy that you gave me, right back, that copy doesn't have the proof of service on it either.
You say proof of service, the proof that the papers were filed, or the proof that the papers was given to them?
The proof that you served the notice to quit to recover possession of property.
Yes, yes, they told me to bring that the receipt after the served. This is the,
Let me see what she's holding up there.
this the filing paper.
I don't know what you're holding up. No, that's a receipt. There's a notice, there's a notice. Here it is, but it's not signed. I don't have a proof of service.
So I took it in. We go.
Ma'am? Ma'am,
I had to prove that it was mailed by the server, by the US Postal Service. That's what you talk about, the served paper. I had that in the car, it's in my purse. It was,
what was served?
the,
Okay, I'm showing, so the record's clear, the notice to quit to recover possession of the property. It has a move-out date of February 28, 2025. It says on here that you certify this is filled out on the 14th of January, that you served this on Dustin Mickles. Doesn't say you served it on the other party, so I don't know what that's going to do. And you say you served it by first-class mail addressed to that person. Problem is,
can I go to the car and get the rest of the paperwork? Because
I don't, what rest of what paperwork?
the rest of the paperwork where I did, went on to the courthouse, and they put, I had to show them the receipt of the postal service that I had.
This would, yeah, ma'am, I don't know what you're talking
What I'm talking about is the papers were served. The papers even get a contact. After I served the papers, I had to go take the courthouse a proof of service with the postal receipt and everything.
about. I don't know why you would have to take a proof of service on this.
To make sure that it gets served.
That's with the, that's gonna be a different
They
other
just got to have
filing.
Jamie Moore deliver it or have the postal service deliver it. But make sure they got it. That's why they're here today in court, because they got the notice. So I don't understand what's wrong at this point. They got the notice, that's why we're here.
I have to have a proof of service that they had adequate notice. I see that document, but I don't have a proof of service regarding the notice.
Can I go get it right in person?
An adjournment is granted to investigate the voucher's sudden disappearance, but doubts linger if anything will change in time.
What's it gonna tell me?
It's gonna take the proof of services that you said you need
For what document?
for the court document paper that we filled out, sir.
Okay, you
That's
filled
why we're
out,
here.
you,
If it wasn't filled out correctly, why are we here?
because everybody would have sent notice out. You have no idea what I'm talking about. The notice to quit, you have shown me a copy of the notice to quit. Pull out your copy of the paperwork.
Can I go get it from the car?
Pull out your copy of the paperwork that you just showed.
What I'm telling you is this paperwork.
You know what? Go out to your car. You just don't listen, and you're gonna go all the way out there. You're gonna come back, and I'm gonna tell you it's not what I'm looking for. But you go ahead, hardhead. You go ahead and do it. You guys have a seat. Court's gonna stand in recess. Recall the case of Green versus Nichols. Parties are present. Ma'am, hand my bailiff what you want to show me. This is what I knew you were going to go out and get. That's not it. Proof of service for a summons and complaint. I'm not talking about the proof of service for a summons and complaint. Because you weren't listening, you wasted all of our time. I knew you weren't going to bring it to me. The notice is defective. Or you have a document someplace that you did not file with the court. One of the two. In your other paperwork, I see it, but it is not filled out. It doesn't tell me what I would need to tell anyone. The copy that I have in the court file also does not show when the notice to quit was served.
Here, she said it looks like everything is ready to go. And she said
I don't know what lawyer you're talking about.
the lawyer that I ran down, she left out the courtroom. I said, I really want property. I just want to make sure you know that she looked at the paperwork. She said, you should have over 10 days. If not, contact me. Because this is new to me too. And it's unfair that I have to go through this.
Ma'am, please don't talk about unfairness. Really, don't talk about unfairness. I've tried for the last half hour to try to tell you what I don't have. You keep trying to pound that square peg into a round hole, telling me, yes, I do have it. I keep trying to tell you that you don't. I keep trying to specifically tell you what you don't have, and you're not listening to me. Then you decide what you want to do is you want to walk all the way out to your car to get it, and I know what you're going to, and you're talking about the Postal Service. I know exactly what you're going to bring back to me, but you keep saying you want to go out there, so I'm going to let you go out there. You walked all the way out there. They sat here and waited. I went back, waited for you to come back. I knew exactly what you were going to show me, and it's not what I'm talking about. So if you want to talk about being unfair, it's that you don't want to listen. You want to try to make something out of something that's not. Say this once. If I don't have the proper proof of service on the notice to quit, that is an improper notice to quit. This is a court of statutory, well, these cases are statutory. For me to obtain subject matter jurisdiction over the case, I have to have a proper notice to quit. As of this moment, I do not have a proper notice to quit. I think that maybe there is a possibility the defect in the notice to quit can be corrected. I don't know that for sure. I somehow doubt it because you've shown me the blank one and it wasn't filled out properly and not submitted to the court. And so if I don't have a proper notice to quit, the only thing that I can do, since I have not acquired subject matter jurisdiction over the case, would be to dismiss your case. In fairness to you, or to try to be fair to you, if you'll listen, I will give you an opportunity to correct that. If it is not corrected when we get back here on the adjourned day, I will be dismissing the case so that nobody is surprised. If it is corrected, then I will be proceeding with the case. So I'm going to adjourn the matter to April 18, 2025, 1 p.m., giving you one opportunity to correct the defects in your pleadings. That is all I've got to say. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
The courtroom confronts the real question: who will bear the cost of moving, and how soon? The judge pushes for resolution despite the murky situation.